Hello, YouTube and Diablo Immortal fans. Troban Gaming here. We're going to be going over an in-depth discussion on the new essences for April 24th. I've collected them all, and we're going to showcase you each essence. So, start out with, let's look at the Judgment one. Aura of Judgment now grants you an Aura of Judgment for 5 seconds, marking nearby enemies with the cross, slowing their movement speed, causing some extra damage. We're actually going to look at them this way. Alright. It's a shoulder piece, so it's going to replace some of the other shoulder items that you might have. As far as open world farming, I really like having the horse up 100% of the time. Without the duration shoulders, I can't quite achieve that, not even close. So for open world farming, I'm not going to use this. Now, other than open world farming, it is pretty interesting. Here's what it looks like. It does move with you, and we're going to go look at the training dummy in the bottom right, and nothing's going on with it. So I'm going to show you the range. I'm going to inch closer until you see a cross over top of it. And when you see the cross over top, that's the range. This is how far away this is going to work. This is going to work in PvP, PvE, whatever you prefer to use it for. So it's going to apply a slow. And then anytime you hit them with your primary attack, it's going to cause them extra damage. Now, I'm too far away from my primary attack to hit, so as you can see, it's not going to do anything. But when you're chasing people in PvP, that will slow them and possibly allow you to catch up with them and hit them and then do the extra damage. So, it definitely is an option for a PvP build. As you can see, there is no hesitation when casting it. Same with the new flail, no hesitation when casting it. Now, we'll go over to the next piece here, the chest piece. This one, Judgment damage when it hits the enemy, it increases your primary attack up to 30%. So, with this piece doing 30%, V-Thu's doing 30%, the new secondary here, stacking your Sacred Fire doing 30%, it's 90%. You find 10% attack speed somewhere else, you've already got 100% attack speed. Really nice, really nice. You don't need a attack speed buff from Necromancers. It's a good support for yourself. Since we're here looking at this stuff, I've shown this Judgment chest plate. I've shown the shoulder piece. I'm not showing the legs yet. We'll get to those. Here's the new mace. Makes your primary attack a sweep attack. Alright. What that looks like. Get a mace. So no matter which weapon it is, turns into a flail there. And you can see the arc. The arc of it. You can move forward a little bit while you're hitting. And you guys saw how far the range is. So, pretty good range on that as a primary attack. I would call that a mid-range, actually. I'm going to turn this off for a moment. Don't need that targeting or anything. So that's definitely a nice range for your primary attack. I like that. Going over the other essences for the helmet, everybody knows that's the possible stun. Alright, a 35% chance to stun enemies when you hit them with that sweep attack. I am not going to use stun in PvE. Can't really think about it. Maybe in Challenge Rift. Maybe in Defense. But I'm not really a fan of stun in PvE. In PvP, it could be nice. But then again, you have to be able to hit with your primary attack. Which means you have to be not stunned. And you can see it swings pretty quick. If I'm running around in PvP swinging that, I could get a stun on somebody. It is interesting, and it is a possible buff, a build. Alright. Let's go over to the next essence. We've hit the shoulders, we've hit that. The legs, briefly talk about them. And I can't see a use for them. You get a horse that increases your primary attack, which an open world farm I don't need or care. Your steed will leave behind gusts of wind to increase movement speed of your allies. In open world farm, I'm not worried about that. Your follow speed is just fine, whatever speed you're at. And I'm not going to use that in dungeons. I just don't see this being useful for myself. Perhaps somebody will come up with something, but for me, nothing. I'm going to put them on real quick, and I'm just going to show you guys what it looks like, because this is about all we're getting in this video. I'm not going to be using this or showcasing it any other time. All right. Back to what I was showing. Got my two horses here. So, this current build that I'm going to show you real quick, it uses one of the newer helmets that's going to increase the crit chance and attack speed of myself and my allies, which is going to be my two horses. So, I'm going to summon the horses and then instantly hit the crit banner so that they get the bonus from that. I'm going to be using Judgment, which gives me that aura, and I'm also using a chest piece, which gives me attack speed from the Judgment. All right? We're going to have Sacred Fire, and so because of that, we're getting more attack speed. I'm going to have over 100% attack speed when I'm doing this. As far as a second offhand, we're just going to use the extra run speed. Not really anything else I can use for this build. Nothing else new really matters. We're going to use Horn Splitter. Reason being is because I still have my Pain Clasp, and I want Horn Splitter proccing that Pain Clasp. I want the damage nonstop over time there. And we will be using the new mace. So, I'm going to do a 30-second test with these abilities, and we're going to show some damage here. So, without further ado, I will be turning back on the auto attack now. The way I start this 30-second test, each 30-second test, I'm going to hit auto attack and then my skills. So, here we go. So, with the auto attack, and then I hit the horse and the banner, so that the horses get the banner. Even though the banner came up first, I still hit horse and then banner. I want the horses to have that banner as long as they possibly can for the best DPS we can possibly output in this build. So this is almost all the newest essences, everything going as planned, and our damage, you saw my current build, we're going to stop at 30 seconds there. 50 million. I am not impressed by that. Not at all. The sweep attack does very good damage. It is the primary damage in this build, as you can see. Then the Judgment, second best. So, that going, take a look, remember that, 50. 50 is an easy number, remember? 50 million, that's what we're going to be comparing a lot of this stuff to. Now, that current build set, we see the pieces I have are the V3s, the Angments. I'm using a 4-piece. I know it's not optimal for this build, but you can go test a few things out, give or take, maybe put in something else instead of a 4-piece Angments. I'm just going to show you guys the skills again. Now, you can see my gems. We're not going to go over that. You have your own gems. Again, just trying out some new essences. So, that was based off of my current raid build or DPS build. This is what we were using before. I'm going to activate it. Before the new essences dropped, this is the build I was using. We're going to go for another 30 seconds with my build that I was using just before the 24th. All right. This build has I'm using auto attack as well. I'm using the Light Strider horses. I'm using the Fallen Sword, which everybody uses. I'm using the Condemn, and I'm using the banner, the Burning Banner. Now, the benefit of the Burning Banner is it's going to buff my entire party. So not only am I getting the buffs from that, but my whole party is. So that's wonderful right there. Already wonderful. After 30 seconds, we can see we're well over 50 million. We can see the banners burning great. We can see all the damage being done. And this was my, again, old raid build. 88 million. So, the new essences do not compare. Plus, you're being selfish. You're only buffing yourself. You're only buffing your horses. Please don't use what the build I just showed. Don't think the new essences are going to be the greatest. They're probably not. Now, this raid build here, in case you're wondering, again, I had the 4-piece V3s, 4-piece Angment, and I'm using the Errant Ignition Banner, Akarat's Rebuke, because we are going to be definitely using the Torrential Refrain. We're using Unholy Wall because everybody likes movement speed, and there's not much else. We get the cooldown so the banner stays up longer. We have another damage over time effect that Torrential Refrain is eating up. We have Luminous Rain that everybody is using for the Falling Sword. Wonderful. We're going to keep that Holy Banner going as long as possible because, as you saw, it does great damage. And Light Striders, using those instead of the Cradle of Pebbles because I want the banner up more so everybody's getting it, not just myself. And there's 2 of these versus 1 Guardian. So they're putting on the burning twice as much, and the Torrential Refrain is just taking it off, destroying it twice as often. It does really good damage. Alright, however, now we have my new raid build that I decided to use. This is the old one, this is the new one. There's one change. That one change is going to be I removed the movement speed because it's raid, and I replaced it with attack speed. I'm going to gain 30% attack speed from this. So, should be nice. I'm expecting some good things out of this 30-second test here. Let's see if we can't get over 100 million. Let's try that. Alright, here we go. Auto attack and skills. So it's the exact same skills. Nothing's changed there. And I'm standing in about the same spot each time. Not that it matters too much. I'm not using any kind of ranged Paragon or anything. I am just using Weaver. And it's pretty easy to keep this rolling. I'm not tapping too many skills too fast. I like the duration of the skills. And boom, we hit over 100 million in 30 seconds. Wonderful. Amazing. Love that. Now there's one other thing we're going to try. We're going to try taking off the Holy Banner. We're going to try the New Judgment. Now I know, I don't have 5 abilities. I don't have anywhere for Judgment to go. So let's do this. Let's take Judgment and replace the least damaging ability. But then now what do I still have to do? Gotta take off this. Don't need it anymore, right? Since we're still using everything else, the Bristle will do the most damage from all the rest. Real quick while we're here, just to let you guys know, the new sweeping flail, the new essence for the flail, the Holy Flail, the sweep attack, none of the other primary essences stack with it. I've tried all of them and none of them stack with it. So it is on its own. Now we're going to try the Judgment. Same exact build. All I've switched out is we have a little less banner, we have Judgment, and we don't have Falling Sword. So let's see how this 30 seconds goes. Can we beat 101 million? That's the goal here. So again, same setup, same Paragon, same everything. Weaver Paragon, Condemn, Judgment, 2 Light Striders. We are still using the banner and we don't have it up as long anymore. But does it matter? I think we should still beat the 101, which we already have. Out of 30 seconds, 126 million. Look at that Judgment damage. That Judgment does some serious damage. I am liking that. All right, puts an aura on you, slowing the enemy movement. I don't care about that for raids. But for straight damage, this is good. So, This is going to be my new raid build. 100% love this for raid damage. I'm going to switch my loadout right now. Overwrite that. Boom. That's my newest raid build, and I'm keeping this. Look at that damage. Alright, enough about raid builds. Let's go into open world farming builds. So, open world farming builds. My current open world farming build before the update was this here. I'm using a 2-piece Banquet of Eyes because I'm having continual damage from my helmet, Anointed Brimstone, at all times. That Sacred Flame is going to be doing continual damage. I'm using Commander's Rally. That's right, I'm not using Condemn. I like the extra 19% damage it gives me because of my 100% uptime from my Galloping Brilliance. Alright, and we're using Luminous Rain as normal. This could change. It's not useful in open world, but that's just what I've had there. The reason I have this one, I'm not 100% worried about the consecration slowing them. At least I wasn't until I recently watched a video, and I'll have to give props to the content creator. He was speaking with another Crusader, why not? And he mentioned Pain of Subjugation. So I took a look at that gem and I was like, wow, you know what? Pain of Subjugation is just as good as Berserker's Eye, but you don't take any extra damage from it when this is rolling all the time because you're slowing them. Pain of Subjugation is doing extra damage to them, and it gives you cooldown for Consecration. That cooldown allows you to keep that damage going all the time. And then I use the Spinning Shields. So back over here, 4-piece Isatar, extra 25% damage is my goal, and of course the 2-piece Fethus. So we're going to do a little test on this. This is my open world form, what I run around with all the time. I don't need auto attack on this. Auto attack is just whatever it is, but here's the farm build. Just the passive damage, just as I'm running around passing by the monsters, this is what's going on. And as you can see, I have quite nearly 100% uptime on the Consecration, 100% uptime on the horse, and almost as well on the Falling Sword. We have 2-second delay there. The slowest thing is the Spinning Shields, but when we get to the DPS here in a few seconds, you'll get to see that the Spinning Shields does very well damage. Even though it's not up near as long as the other ones, its damage is equivalent to the Falling Sword. Falling Sword, we all know, is huge radius. Love it for farming open world. But since you're running through the monsters, the shield does great damage too. A lot of people like to use Consecration. This build here does more damage by 10% at least. All right. We're at almost 35 million. Not going to transfer ants. This is already a transfer those. So with the old farm build, like I said, you can quite possibly change something out with the horn splitter here because we don't use it at all. I mean, you can turn auto attack on. Your horse attack will hit things as you get close to them. Absolutely can use it. But we're going to look at this one. Might give away one of my secrets. No, we're looking at Zeal Flare. Activate. So, with this possible new build, we're going to take a look at using the Flail. Alright. So basically all the same. I did change out the horn splitter for the Flail, so that we're going to use the attack. And the Zeal Flare adds 19% damage to the sweep attack. Everything else remains the same. Nope, I apologize. Now I'm using the Consecration, or Condemn. So the Condemn's going to be popping off. The Condemn, I'm using Gates of Hell, doing extra damage, and I'm going to be using the Blinding Wall on the Condemn, and you'll see why in a moment. So, let's go over here to the training dummy, get myself set up, turn on auto attack, and it hits 360. That's great. That flail is nice. I think it's better than the shield. I do like it. You'll see in a moment why I did not use the auto attack earlier. You're going to ask about the damage. And like I said, I'll explain that in just a few seconds here. And 30. Okay, so look at my primary attack. 0. Look at the horse. 3.9. That's because when you turn on the flail, the damage does not go to your horse or your primary. It goes to the flail. So that's taking the place of my shield spin. As we saw before, the sword did about 7 million, did 6.5 this time, relatively similar. But the shield did about 7 million. This flail does 22, 23 million, 3 times the damage as the shield. That's wonderful damage. Wonderful damage. And Condemn, it does its damage here, 45 million. Now, the reason I was wanting to show you guys one thing, that's with the helmet doing 19%. What if we use this, the Glower? Now, whenever an enemy is blinded, not worry about the other two, 28%. So we're going to increase almost 10% damage. We should, because we're using the blinding wall. So let's see if we can increase 10% damage from that 45 million we just saw by using this helm. Here we go. So all the same stuff. Now, I'm hoping you guys are enjoying the video here. I know it's a bit long. We have a lot of essences to go over, and I went over a few DPS dungeon raid builds. Not so much dungeon, more raid builds. And I've went over a few open world farm builds, giving you my opinion on some of these abilities. Hopefully you can make some good judgment calls on your own. 46. Definitely greater than the 45. Not quite 10%. But as we can see here in the damage, it works. So, if you guys want to use the Glower helmet, you absolutely can. 28% more. If you all want to use the other helmet, the Zilflare, as you saw, the damage was about the same. Not much different, not big deal. So for me, I have a new raid build that increased my damage a lot. Love that. I'm not going to use this build. I don't particularly care for the helmet, the way it's working. I may go and use my old farm build, but I may switch out Sweep Attack for the Luminous Rain. And I guess we can just test that right here, right now. It's the only thing I hadn't really tested ahead of time. I already knew the outcome of most everything else. So, sure, while you all are here with me, let's go through this together. All right, I'm doing 30 seconds with my old test. I'm going to use auto attack. I'm going to use everything. And we're going to see how this one works. So, standing about the same place, auto attack, and I have my shields going, my Luminous Rain going, my continual damage, my pain class, everything's working great for me. My pain and subjugation is working great for me. And like I said, this is my normal farming build. You'll be able to take a look into my brain and see how I build my farm builds as I'm going through, looking at the DPS that I'm doing, stopping at 30 seconds. What I'll take a look at here is I see that this sword, the Luminous Rain, is doing 6.2 million. It's the lowest. I'm at 44.5. Almost the same as the other builds that we just showcased. So what I want to do is take out the lowest, take out that Luminous Rain, replace it with the new Sweep Attack. All right. Sweep Attack's all at the bottom. So that's one change. Everything else is still the same. Again, this doesn't matter. There's nothing else I can put there. Essence transfer. There's nothing else that will fit with the Sweep Attack. I'm no longer using the Falling Sword. So yeah, there's nothing. I might as well just keep that there in place. Doesn't matter. It's placeholder then. And let's see what we can do with this. About the same spot. Like I said, you know, I'm thinking I want to change my mind on that. Let's just go ahead and do a DPS test real quick. Over 30 seconds. Now what I'm thinking is, I love the range on Luminous Rain. I don't want to give that up. What I do want to give up are the shields. So I'm thinking, put Sweep Attack in instead of the shield. I know that I can have Luminous Rain still, because we just saw I'm not using 2 primaries. Pause. Alright, so we're almost at 50 million. Sweep Attack is nice. But I think extra damage on Sweep Attack 100%. Let's hit that Luminous Rain back. Let's go to my skills real quick. And Falling Sword. Okay, now Essence Transfer. We're not using this. We can use something else here. We're already using Consecration there. We're not using any of those. Consecration. The enemy's total loss. I'm not doing total loss. But you know what? I'm going to probably take that. No, I'm not doing total loss. So what I'm going to take is a Sacred Fire one here. If I get knocked off my horse, I am using Sacred Fire. So something, you know, I might have to stand there and attack for a couple seconds. Some horse comes back. This will help damage and kill it. So yeah, I'll take that. All right, can we get over 50 million? Don't know about getting over 50 million, but I'm definitely curious. I like the way this build's looking. Let's start it out here. So, like I said before, love the range of Luminous Rain, so I definitely did not want to lose that. And this thing's up 100% of the time to Flail. I like that. It hits a larger area. I like that. It goes perfectly with auto attack. I think this is definitely going to be my new farm build. I can feel it. And right at 30 seconds, we were almost at 50 million. So yeah, it's a great farm build. Look at it, 1.6 million constant. So right here with me together, guys, that is my new farm build, 100%. Love it, love that. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video here today. And one more overview. You guys get in the video here. I'm just going to go right back over all the essences real quick. So, Sweep Attack for this, possibly good for PvP. Then next one, we have the Judgment. Wonderful damage on the shoulders. Love that. Next, we're going to have the Essence on the chest. I cannot give up my Condemn and Torrential Refrain. It just does way too much damage. I don't see this being useful anywhere. The Horse Pants, I don't see it being useful anywhere. The new primary essences, I really haven't gone over the mysteries above. We're going to hit that in just a moment. I apologize for y'all. The Holy Flail, open world farm, yes please, thank you, possibly PvP, we'll see. And last, before we get to that other essence, the Sacred Fire primary attack, wonderful addition for straight damage. So we definitely like that. Let's go ahead and inherit this. It's a Falling Sword, so let's just put it over Falling Sword. Now, earlier in the description, it supposedly is supposed to have a 50% chance of dropping a single sword that did some stunning, knocked him back, something like that. Well, this one does not. You see the damage it does. For me, 34 and some change. knocks back enemies. I believe this is more for if you want to play a Crusader at ranged. I can't see a good reason for it in PvE. I can't see a good reason for it in PvP, really. Maybe somebody will find a good use for it. But currently I think it's very underwhelming. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I do apologize for how long it was. We had a lot to go over, and I hope you can take away from some of these builds. Happy hunting, Diablo Immortal fans.